Hey, vinyl community, and welcome YouTubers from everywhere. Haven't done a video in about a month, yeah, and my daughter has been nagging me on the last video. It's about time. Yeah, we got this thread going around about 10 records I listen to the most. It's interesting. I've been watching lots of videos. It's been around for a couple weeks. Oh, so I bought my first record in about 1954. So I've had a lot of records over a lot of years that I listen to a lot. One of the things that's interesting, everybody kind of titles it a little bit different to fit what their listening is. So I'm going to say this is 10 records plus one, which a lot of people are doing, that I've listened to a lot, either back in the day or recently, because I'm going to have some newer records in here. I'm going to try to make this pretty quick, and I'm thinking I'm going to show a lot of records that nobody else shows. We're going to see a lot of classic rock stuff, of course, but different people are showing different stuff, and that's what makes it fun. So I'm going to show my first record and a lot of this stuff, and I pulled out things that were easy to get to because they're out here where I listen to stuff. First one, Little Touch of Smilson in the Night. One of my top 10 favorite records, probably. Now, if you said to tell you my top 10 favorite records, yeah, there might be 100 records on that list, because how can you narrow anything down to 10? Got some notes here. Come out in 1973. I have multiple copies of this record, including the OG. This is the 2010 reissue. Kevin Gray, pressed at RTI. This is the best sounding one you're going to get. Great sounding record. He's doing American musical songbook standards. I'm an old guy. That's one of the things I love. One of the new people to me when I got back into vinyl, and then later, St. Vincent. Okay, here 3 or 4 years ago, when this record came out, here 5 years ago, 2018, Mass Education, and previous to this was Mass Seduction, of course, with that little kind of sexy cover. So I got that and I enjoyed it, and this is kind of a redo of that album, just her and a piano. And this record I played more than any other record the year this record came out. Was mastered at Sterling, pressed at Palace, so the sound on this record is phenomenal. I bet nobody's showing St. Vincent in this thread. There's another interesting record. Always loved Alan Toussaint. Alan Toussaint, The Bright Mississippi. Okay. Back about the time, after this come out, one late night, I'm watching Austin City Limits. Here's Alan Toussaint on Austin City Limits with his band. He's doing this album. And it was fantastic. And so I ordered the CD right away, and the records were hard to come by. This was at the time was pressed only in the EU, and it was hard to get. Pressed at Palace. Sound is outstanding. Produced by Joe Henry. And so just one of my favorite records, but one I listen to a lot. A lot of nice variety. Now, somebody said that one of the good things that came out of Hurricane Katrina, if you can say that, is it destroyed Alan Toussaint's studio, and he had to go back to work performing, and we all benefited from that. One of my favorites from a long time ago, Rory Block. Now, I'm going to put up here a picture of the CD. I got this CD first, and I didn't know who she was. I might have even got it at the used bin when CDs were starting to get cheaper. And I didn't know anything about this record till the modern era here, and then you go to Discogs where you can get lots of information, and this is the record that relates to that CD. Now, there's one or two tunes different on here than the CD, but this is one of my favorite records. I've done a full video about Rory Block. She plays old-time blues guitar. She's outstanding, and the CD, or this album, came out in 75, 76, and the CD came out around 1990. And without Discogs, this record would probably be hard to get. In the same style of music, one of my top 10 favorite records, Bonnie Raitt, her first record. I've shown almost all these records lots of times before. Self-titled, 1971. Okay, this is Music on Vinyl, 2013. Originals of this is hard to come by. This is way better sounding than the OG. I got the OG. I got this rated 5 out of 5, and I think Discogs rates this 5 out of 5. So that tells you a little bit about how good it is. And she does all the old-time blues, and just one of my favorite records. I had the CD. I got it on the computer. Right there in the same vein. Nobody's going to show this record. Maria Muldaur. This was probably pressed at RTI. It's that Rhino reissue back there, Kevin Gray. So again, this is not the OG. I have the OG. This is fantastic sounding. Okay, this came out in 1973, and her biggest hit, maybe her only hit if we talk real hit, Midnight at the Oasis. Okay, this is old-time blues, just like the Bonnie Raitt record. Midnight at the Oasis is an outlier on this album. It doesn't sound like any of the other stuff. You say Maria Muldaur, that's what people think about. I've seen her live, and she's always been one of my favorites, and she's still going strong. One of the new things I learned about and found out about in the vinyl community, Gillian Welch. Everybody knows this record. I didn't put a sticky on here, but this is the later audiophile reissue. I just love this record. The sound is fantastic. I love the songs. On this album, my favorite song, Dark Turn of Mind. I love all this album, but the Dark Turn of Mind I've listened to over and over. I got Tidal and Rune and all that stuff, so I'll bring it up here on the computer. I can transfer it over to the big system over there where it sounds great, and I'll listen to that one song over and over. I just love it. Everybody knows about this record. You need it. Not going to say much here. I've shown and talked about all this many times before. Dream with Dean. This is the double LP 45 RPM audio file. So when I got back into vinyl, I didn't have a turntable set up. So I say I got back into vinyl, but I got interested in getting back into vinyl 10 years ago or so. This record's 2014. And so this was a high-res download. I ordered a number of high-res downloads, so I listened to them primarily on the computer. And then I ordered this, and of course this is fantastic sounding, in my opinion, the best record Dean ever made. And so again, this is one I have over there in the back there where I have the record store style rack where stuff I play all the time is. If somebody comes over at the house, for me they're probably going to be old people, this will be the record I pull out and play for them because it sounds like Dean is right there in the room with you. Back years ago, friend, when we could make copies of stuff on our computer, he had the CD. I was unaware of this record, even though I'm a big fan of both of these people. He gave me the CD, he said, this is fantastic music, it's fantastic sounding. And then again, here later, getting back into the vinyl community and finding out about all of this stuff, I got this super high quality audiophile record, and this is just a gorgeous record. Another record I bet nobody else is going to show. Melody Gardot, My One and Only Thrill. Favorite song on here, Lover Undercover. First I got this on CD. I listened to the song Lover Undercover probably, 100 times a long time ago. How many times have I listened on the record? I love Melody Gardot. I have all of her records. This was her second album in 2009. The LP was EU only originally, and this is the 2014 ORG audiophile reissue, Bernie Grundman, RTI. Discogs rates this album 4.72 out of 5, so you know people like it. Okay, that's my 10. Trying to show some I've been listening to forever and some I just found out about here since we have the vinyl community. My last one, great record, Ray Charles, Duets With. This is the 45 RPM CD, come out in 2004, and the LP was EU only, but of course Concord reissued this 2014 double LP 45 RPM mixed by Al Smith. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this. He's playing with friends. The arrangements are different. The musicians are different. And so there's a lot of variety on here, and all the tunes and people you like are on here. This is a great record. First off with Norah Jones, then with James Taylor, then with Diana Krall, then with Elton John, then with Natalie Cole, then with Bonnie Raitt, Do I Ever Cross Your Mind? I love that. Then with Willie Nelson, and I think Willie Nelson's on there with another famous person you wouldn't expect. Michael McDonald, B.B. King, Gladys Knight, Johnny Mathis, and Van Morrison. A lot of you are probably not familiar with this record. You can listen to it over and over because so many different people on here, the great Ray Charles sound, lots of different arrangements and instrumentation, and so it doesn't all sound alike. So that's the 10 records I've listened to a lot in the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And this has been a fun thread. I hope you all enjoyed it. So keep them spinning, and see you all down the trail.
Happy trails to you until